morality. And we're talking this morning with a man that I personally call, like many of you, Shaka Fame. He's very famous indeed. And he's more in the political circles known as Colin Bell, a representative of East Portland for the People's National Party. Good morning, Colin. Shaka, wagwan.
Richard, morning, Parishina, wagwan, bro.
What there, bro? Everything good?
Most things are good, and those that are not so good, we're working on them.
Yeah, man. Glad to have you on this platform this morning, Shaka Fame, Colin Bell. I wanted to preface our discussion by just giving an indication of, by way of an update as to a release that came out just yesterday from the People's National Party Youth Organization, the PNPYO. They came out strongly condemning the Andrew Holness-led administration for its handling of the constitutional reform process, accusing the Prime Minister of selectively targeting opposition leader Mark Golding's British citizenship to deflect from major issues. The PNPYO argues that Golding's citizenship is within the bounds of the current constitution and that the Prime Minister's stance is opportunistic and disingenuous. The organization also denounces Minister Juliet Cuthbert-Flynn's discriminatory remarks and Minister Daryl Vaz's dissemination of Golding's private information, calling for an elevation in political discourse and a focus on genuine reform. You take no issue with anything that I just read coming from the PNPYO, I take it, Colin Bell?
Absolutely not.
Is there anything that you would like to expand on somewhat? I'm trying to get from you, how you feel about this matter of the dual citizenship and the constitutional reform process that's taking place.
Richie, I find it disturbing. And I hear the Prime Minister talk about untenable. And what is really untenable in my view is a government that have no regards for the Constitution, the supreme law that governs the country that they are managing. I put it to you and your listeners that this government has lost no fewer, maybe more than 3 constitutional cases put before the Jamaican court. And I want to add another breach that the present Prime Minister made when he was leader of opposition, when he had the senators signing undated letters so as not to go to the CCJ. And therefore, when we look at the argument about morality, the argument about trust, it is this government that have no morality. It is this government that we can't trust, because P.J. Patterson changed the oath that when a parliamentarian swears now, they swear to uphold and defend the Constitution of Jamaica. Moving away from the days, Richie, you wouldn't remember when we used to swear allegiance to the Queen, her heirs and successors. PJ said no. And therefore, if you swear to uphold and defend the Constitution, and on no fewer than 3 occasions you have lost constitutional cases in the court, and here you are again, coming down on a man who is standing on solid ground as it relates to the Constitution of Jamaica. And then you're talking about, okay, there is no legal issue, there is no constitutional issue, but morally you shouldn't have dual citizenship, when in fact the Constitution of Jamaica speaks to a Commonwealth citizen being eligible to sit in the Parliament of Jamaica.
So overall, what is your stance then, Colin, on dual citizenship and its implications for political office holders?
All right, there are 2 arguments, Richie. There's a no, what exists now, and there's an argument if we are going to change the Constitution, what are the things that we should move towards. And I believe that my leader, or any leader, any Prime Minister of Jamaica, should have sole citizenship of Jamaica. And I'll go further, that any Prime Minister of Jamaica must be born in Jamaica. Those are my views going forward. But it's 2 separate arguments. We have to also look at what exists now, what the present Constitution says. and not what we would like to see, because what we would like to see should be a part of the constitutional reform. And the Prime Minister is the one who put forward that team and start the constitutional reform. And we have never heard before last week, Monday, his suggestion to the Constitutional Reform Committee. So if you want your Prime Minister not to have dual citizenship, let's put it in the reform coming and make those suggestions.
So on to the first point that you made a while ago then. Is it your expectation that Mark Golding, should he be elevated to Prime Minister, that he would by then have renounced the British citizenship?
I based on the Constitution, Richie, I would leave that decision to the leader of opposition. And as he said in an interview on another station, that if the people of Jamaica says that it is to be relinquished, he would. Because my leader of opposition, Mark Golding, holds no closeness for Britain. His thing is Jamaica. He's a born Jamaican, and as he clearly states, he works all his life in Jamaica. He has never worked anywhere else around the world. He has never really lived anywhere else except when he went to school to get himself qualified academically. So, as I said, my view, I want my Prime Minister to have Jamaican citizenship solely. And I want to ensure that my Prime Minister is a born Jamaican, not like what we had some years ago when we had a born American being Prime Minister of Jamaica. That should never happen again.
How big an issue is this right now from what you're picking up on the ground? I mean, people are obviously talking about it, but is it a major issue you think that could even have implications should an election be called and so on? You think it's that important?
For me, Richie, personally, it is not an issue. It is not an issue because the Constitution says, and let me remind your listeners, you don't have to be a Jamaican to sit in the Jamaica Parliament, Once you're a Commonwealth citizen, if you're a citizen of Canada, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, states in the Caribbean, and you live in Jamaica for over a year, you don't need a Jamaican passport. You are eligible to sit in the Parliament. So presently, this argument that we are on right now is a non-argument.
Yesterday,
a non-argument. Legally, it is okay.
Yesterday, we had Minister Darrell Vaz as our guest in this very same segment of the program. And we asked him about the whole matter of the information leak. And he again repeated that that the information was sent to him by someone from within the People's National Party. How do you assess his handling of the situation? And what are your thoughts on that issue?
Richie, you know Folly Oval, right?
Yes.
In Port Antonio.
Yes.
And you know the Twin Harbour.
Right.
If you believe what Darrell Vaz told you yesterday, I'll sell you the Twin Harbour in Port Antonio and Folly Oval for $1. And therefore, this now is a serious matter that we need to take up. We need to investigate it, and Mr. Vaz should be made to name the person, because based on Mr. Vaz's position in government and the fact that we have a NIDS coming out where we are talking about data protection, and that information blurted out by Mr. Vaz, that needs to be investigated thoroughly. And that's why I talked to you earlier about the trust deficit that we are having in this country with this government. You come out on public radio, and Richie, you remember the last time you renew your passport?
A few years ago.
Huh?
A few years ago.
But you're off the bat right now. You can't remember which year.
I can't tell you which year. It's a few years ago.
Exactly. And Mr. Vaz was able to tell you when the leader of opposition applied for his passport. So I say to anybody who really believe what Mr. Vaz said, I maybe could sell you the Eiffel Tower as well. So you see, Richie, we have to be careful. And when we look, some of the things that we are looking at, are the facts. We can't just try and make narrative and pull wool over people's face, because what is happening with this dual citizenship argument is trying to detract from some of the major issues that we are having in Jamaica right now. It is a detraction campaign put on by the Jamaica Labour Party. They don't want to leave the Privy Council because the Privy Council is accessible to a few Jamaicans. If you have real money, you can access the final Court of Appeal. The Privy Council, there are some people who are saying that they give better judgment because they might look different from us and we are not qualified to give good judgment. Mm-hmm. So we have to understand what is at play here.
We do. There's been a lot of sayings and counter arguments and so on over the past couple of weeks. Your side laying blame on members of the government. Judith Cuthbert's comments is also one that has come up for mention, Richie, by the People's National Party.
That one is very unfortunate because at this day and age, we shouldn't be playing the race game, Richie. We shouldn't be looking at a man who was born in Jamaica. And because his skin color is a little bit different and his father come from England, we want to hold that against him. None of us, Richie, none of us have anything to do with where we were born or our parents. We did not choose our parent. Yeah? Mm-hmm. And therefore we have to look at our reality and accept our reality. I am a born Portlander, you're a born Portlander. Yep. Me and you can't change that.
Right.
Mark Wallen is a born Jamaican, he was born in Kingston, he's a born Kingstonian. Him can't change that. Him never have nothing to do with it. Him not have nothing to do with him skin color. Look at the man history. Look where he's coming from, look how he live his life. And therefore judge him by that.
So I was going on to ask the question then, Colin Bell, what message really do you have for the youth of Jamaica who are looking for a better political environment and genuine leadership?
Richie, I am also the deputy spokesperson on culture and the creative industry. Mm-hmm. And I want to say to the youth of Jamaica that the next PNP administration will be investing heavily in the creative industry. You're a part of the creative industry, which you have been for a very long time.
Yes.
We know that if you really want to make real money, it is in the creative industry. Just look at some of our people around us, the Beanie Man, the Bounty Killer, the Butcher Bantan, Usain Bolt, Shelley and Fraser Price. I mean, all those are in the creative industry. We talk about Oliver Samuels, Glenn Campbell, Dale Harris. These people are creatives. Yeah. And if we really invest in the creative industry and put the kind of interest in it and build it out the way it ought to, our young people will have a proper chance of creating wealth for themselves. You don't have to do no scamming, you don't have to do no chopping, because in the creative industry, Richie, you're star in one movie and your life change. Mm-hmm. I mean, a guy go play some football and him life change. It is only in the creative industry that a 10-year-old can legally become a millionaire. The creative industry is valued at $3 trillion annually. The next PNP administration will be aiming to earn at least 1% annually of that $3 trillion, which is $30 billion. 30 billion US is 4 times the Jamaican budget. And if we are earning that, our young people will be able to buy the big Benz and the Prado and the Land Cruiser, will be able to build a mansion, will be able to take care of mama. So I'm saying to our young people, look at the next PNP administration, look what we are dealing with. Dr. Deborah Icklin is the Shadow Minister on Culture and the Creative Industry. I am the deputy, and we are charged with the responsibility to ensure that the creative industry delivers for Jamaica, because that is what we are going to use to turn the economy around. Right. So why some people are saying that why a lot of people don't invest in the creative industry, it's the average man on the street that will get wealthy from the creative industry. Look how many of our ghetto youths just bust up out of the ghetto and start living a good life because they are singers, they are DJs, they are actors, actresses. Yeah. That is the creative industry. It is the visual and the performing art. It is music, anything entertainment. It is sports. And we are going to ensure that our people get their fair share. We are strategically placed. We speak English, and therefore the money is out there to be made, Richie. And we are going to ensure that we make that money. You know that I am a creative.
Yeah.
I mean, a whole heap of stage show me MC, you know,
Oh,
they don't
yes.
know.
Them for no. You represented the People's National Party in the recent local government elections. Are you confirmed for being the representative for the upcoming elections, or is that process?
Yes, I am the candidate for
You are the candidate.
Portland.
Okay, great.
Going forward.
All right. Thank you very much, Shaka. We understand there was some sad news out of Port Antonio. Yes, was it last night?
Yeah, 6 o'clock yesterday evening, a man was shot in a drive-by shooting in Bolingbrook. That is not Portland, Richie. I hate to report that. It hurts. I mean, we have now gone six murders since the start of the year. Very disappointing. Portland is recognized as the most peaceful parish in Jamaica. We want to keep it that way. I'm commending the police for the great work they have been doing, but I am really calling on them to do more. I mean, the crime on this island, Richie, is unprecedented, and, you know, it really scares the hell out of me sometimes. But, you know, we have to do what we have to do.
Yeah, we pray for a better day.
We were promised that we'd be able to sleep with our doors and our windows open and all of that kind of stuff, which has not been happening. Yeah. And then we talk about morals, Richie, and we have a prime minister for 3 years. His statutory filing has not been certified. There are 6 people sitting in the parliament who are under investigation for illicit enrichment. Those are the things that they are trying to move us away from, you know, when they come with this dual citizenship argument.
All right. Shaka
Those
Fame.
are the things that they're trying to push us from. Richie, thanks, man.
Great having you as always, bro. Thanks for your thoughts
Happy
this
to
morning.
be on this platform, and I just want to big up all your listeners and your viewers. One love.
Every time. That's Colin Bell, a.k.a. Shaka Fame.